What's going on, guys? Tower number 9 here, and I'm playing another Red Iden tournament game, this time against RebelSpy from the Unplayable podcast. I said tournament game. What I meant was league game. This is Take the Initiative League 0.6. We're going to see how we do against Red Han. So, let's get to it. Hmm, let's see. I like the forced choke in the early game, but giving Han cards isn't great. So I would probably want to resource at least one of the, probably resource forced choke and make an opening. And then we can do probe droid, potentially Dell. Yeah, this doesn't seem terrible. We'll keep. Opponent's got a mulligan. Power of the Dark Side, also an interesting option if we see an early strong unit. So one thing Han can do is deploy something like, we can see Han deploy something like a um, Falcon or Ezra on the first turn. Power of the Dark Side on the second turn is a good counter to that because going for a more expensive deployment for Han almost always involves losing the initiative. Okay, so we are going to, let's get started here. So I will begin by playing a Viper Probe Droid, and I get to see my opponent's hand. So we have, okay, so it's looking like this is an aggro deck, at least based on this. So we see Fleet Lieutenant, Red 3, Falcon, and A-Wing. Okay, so it's looking like this is aggro. We maybe should have kept that make an opening, but we'll have to see. Opponent goes for the A-Wing instead of going for the Falcon. I'm just going to take the initiative. Um, so then we draw two. Okay, nice. We drew another copy of make an opening. So I think the name of the game here is trying to mitigate incoming damage. So probably we're actually going to Power of the Dark Side. Hmm. Is it worth using the Power of the Dark Side here? I think it is. So we are going to, let's see, he's not playing Green Han, so Dell's, okay, we'll resource, I think we actually resource Dell here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use Power of the Dark Side, get rid of the A-Wing. I don't want to take damage from that. He'll probably play the Falcon in response. Yep, that's right. So we know there's Fleet Lieutenant and Red 3 in hand. I'm going to swing for 3 to base. He will probably swing for 3 to base, and I'm going to take the initiative. I could heal with Iden's ability here, but I don't think it's very constructive to do that. Because it will mean I don't have the chance to draw a counter to the Falcon. Unfortunately, I didn't, but I think it's reasonable to be looking for that counter in this sort of situation. So what do I want to resource here? Might need this forced choke. I'm not loving the current situation. I'd like to see a space counter of some kind. Let's think about what we want to be doing here. So one thing that I can do is just play the cell block guard, kind of a boring turn. Count Dooku will eventually be a relevant counter, but isn't right now. I think we resource the well, so we can play the trooper, but it's low impact. I think we resource the trooper here, but it could be wrong. So I'll just start out with the Viper Probe Droid hitting the base. Opponent will. Oh, opponent's thinking about something. Could have it. Maybe we see a surprise strike here or something. I'm wondering if that's the choice, if it's between a normal attack or an enhanced attack. Ends up just being a normal attack. I'm going to go ahead and play out the cell block guard, who will at least give me some coverage in the ground arena, though there is a chance he'll be removed or taken out by a stronger unit. And now we're seeing red 3. Yeah, so my opponent is really focused on space, and we need to see some, we really want to draw like an Imperial Interceptor here, would be one of the best cards we could draw. Not seeing it. This is tough. Han probably gets to deploy this turn. Okay, so Han probably gets to deploy this turn. We might need to bring the Fang Fighter out. We might need to bring the Fang Fighter out without any, we might need to bring the Fang Fighter out without any direct attachment to remove. simply to mitigate incoming damage in space. Um, okay, so what I'm going to do here is play second Viper Probe Droid, take a look at the hand. Okay, another A-Wing Fleet Lieutenant Black 1, and for a cause I believe in, which is not always seen in Han decks. Okay, so yeah, definitely a situation where space is the problem, and we need to hit our space counters here. But we haven't seen them. So then red 3 is going to swing in. That's going to be 5 to base. Um, Viper Probe trades with Fleet Lieutenant. Falcon hits the base for 3. We'll use Iden's ability to heal 1. Yeah, it looks like he's accelerating. Maybe not. He's considering whether to accelerate and bring out Han. The good thing for me is that if Han does deploy early, he's kind of, that cell block guard is sort of stopping him. And there's actually an argument to play make an opening on Han if he does do that. Okay, so he goes for the temp resource, so he's probably accelerating Han. We're gonna have the cell block guard hit the base for 3. Okay, so he brings out his A-Wing. I think what I have to do here is deploy the Fang Fighter with no upgrade to remove just to have some presence in space because the situation in space is just it's really undesirable here. The only card left in hand is for a cause I believe in. So he's gonna probably deploy Han. We can use we can use this Fang Fighter to kill we can use the Fang Fighter to kill Red 3 at the start of the next turn. That is a trade. I guess he's like thinking about whether to deploy Han. So if he doesn't deploy Han here, that's favorable for me. It does mean that his Falcon can kill the Fang Fighter without it having the chance to destroy one of the ships potentially. But I can just Tarkentown his Falcon in that scenario. And additionally, if I do that, it creates a safer environment for me because he's focused on a unit instead of aggro. Okay, so he takes the initiative. I'm happy about that, and we're gonna draw up. Nice, Ruthless Raider. That's a good card to see here. So we resource this trooper probably. We still have that make an opening, which can be a debuff and some emergency damage if needed. Um, and we're gonna see what happens here. Okay, so he gets rid of a heroic sacrifice. So he still has for a cause, or no, he turned one of those into a temp resource last turn. Yeah, so I think he probably either has for a cause or black one as his only card. The best move here is probably to attack with either the A-Wing or Red 3. So Red 3 is a better card, but if he attacks with his A-Wing, the Fang Fighter can kill the A-Wing and remain alive. So that's kind of the issue. The A-Wing only has one attack on or one power on defense, so he probably wants to either attack into my Fang Fighter or have the A-Wing attack the base, which prevents. Yeah, okay. So he goes for A-Wing into base 5, so that does 4 damage. So then we're going to have yeah, Fang Fighter kill Red 3. Falcon doing 3 to base. I will I'll heal one with Iden. He deploys Han. I deploy Iden. I am really in trouble here though because I'm only going to be able to kill one of his I'm only going to be able to kill well, let's see. One thing, so he'll probably play for a cause. Yep, that's right. And that's going to do One, two, three, 3 damage. So I will get to probably well, but if he has a surprise strike or something, I'm pretty dead, and there's a good chance he can put K2 in hand, which is direct damage. So he's thinking about his discards and stuff here. Um, let's see, discards the waylay. So if I'm him, I'm keeping K2 on top. I probably discard waylay. What do you keep? You keep Mace Windu and K2 probably. K2 is direct damage to base. Mace Windu is a very aggressive card. No, he's getting rid of Mace Windu. He's gonna keep Han in K2. No, he's gonna yeah, okay, so he keeps Han in K2. Okay. Um okay, so we can Ruthless Raider. Yeah, so I can probably kill Han. I can okay, so I can probably kill Han plus the Falcon this turn. I don't know if it's enough, but that is 2 points of healing. We'll see how this goes. So I will Ruthless Raider. We're going to deal 2 damage to the Falcon and 2 damage to base. Then we're going to be able to remove the Falcon with Tarkin Town, and then we're going to be able to kill Han, and that's 2 points of healing from Iden, hopefully. You know, it's possible he has something that's going to really change that, but we'll have to see how this goes. So Han swings into the Cell Block Guard, kind of a predictable event. So then what we need to do is have Viper Probe Droid hits Han. The reason that I use the Viper Probe Droid to do this is because this means that if he has another Mace Windu, it no longer has a target, and also Iden cannot be picked off by that Han by the unit Han that he has in hand because she still has her shield. He takes the initiative, so then we Tarkin Town, killing the Falcon and healing the base for another one. So we managed to heal some of that damage, and then Iden swings in for 4. But it might be too late. You know, if we see a surprise strike, that's game. If we see a heroic sacrifice, that's game. But we know his top cards are going to be that K2 and are going to be K2 and ooh, and this is not what we want to see in hand. We keep so we could keep Inferno. So let's see. What is he going to do here? So he's going to hit 7 resources, so he could play Han Solo, but more likely he's going to play K2 because of the direct damage to base. So how do we want to deal with that? He'll hit 7 resources. Oh no, he's not resourcing. Okay, so he's not going to play that Han. That's weird. Unless he uses Han's ability to create a temporary resource for it. Um, I wonder if he just has a kill and that's why he didn't bother to resource. Let's see if let's no, but if he did, why wouldn't he have used it last turn? It doesn't make sense. Or no, because Han was stopped by my Sentinel. That's why he wouldn't have used it last turn. Leia exhausts the Raider. This is actually totally fine for me because what we're going to do is um, we're going to play Count Dooku and kill the A-Wing with it. I'm actually much happier about that than I would be if my opponent had gone for direct damage to base. And next, my opponent will probably play K2. So let's see what we're doing here. So if we have Iden kill K2, um, the problem is then Han can ambush Iden, but I think I have to do this. Yeah, I have to do it like this, I think. So Iden will kill K2, losing her shield, heal 1 to base. He does 3 to base. Oh, you know, I actually misplayed that. That was a silly way to do it. I should have just taken the initiative to use make an opening on Leia. The fact that I did it this way makes me vulnerable to the opponent drawing a surprise strike or a heroic sacrifice. My hope is that I'm going to get him to use Han to kill Iden, and then I can get out of that with various methods here. 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 resources. Resourcing doesn't get me to a new point, and I might want all these cards. So current plan is make an opening plus power of the dark side. I think we don't resource. So if he has direct damage, okay, so he gets to do that. So we are going to have, okay, he has Han. The problem is my damage is really bad. If he has a power of the, if he has a, for a cause I believe in, I probably die if I don't play this power of the dark side. How much damage do I have to his base? I have lethal to his base. The question is, did he draw a for a cause I believe in? If not, I can actually win the game just by attacking his base here. But if he still has that Han, I need to attack with Iden immediately or she dies. We're gonna risk it. We're gonna go for Iden to the base. If he has for a cause, that's probably game over. 3 resources for a cause, game over. No, it's the fighters for freedom. Okay, so I think we've won here. So what we're going to do, he didn't play Han, he played the fighters for freedom. What we're going to do is, um, yeah, count Dooku to the base. He has another fighters for freedom, 1 damage to base, but we're still alive. And then, whew, very close, very close. He resourced that Han. I thought he was going to keep it, but he resourced that Han. Okay, that was super close. All right, now we're gonna go to game two, and we definitely have some sideboard changes to make. We won that game by the skin of our teeth there. So what we need to do is we need to get some anti-aggro stuff in here quickly. So the main threat right now is space aggro. Hopefully we can draw our Imperial Interceptors, which make this situation substantially easier. But in order to improve the situation further, we're going to bring in System Patrol Craft. We also have a copy of Regional Governor that we're getting in. Um, and probably, what do we remove for a Regional Governor? Probably something that's relevant on ground and not in space. Can't really afford to remove any space stuff. Emperor Palpatine might be too late game for this because this is an aggro matchup. So I think the problem is he's also one of the few things that this deck has to answer a large board. So I don't really want to cut him. Emperor Palpatine. Dell is not the greatest here, but his healing matters at the very least. I think we'll remove 1 copy of Dell in favor of that governor. Oh, and then what are the other 3 cards? Yes. So what's coming in? Do we cut Is Palpatine the cut for the System Patrol Craft? Yeah, I don't love cutting Palpatine, but he is expensive and he's extremely vulnerable to Han Solo, the unit. So I think we are going to cut him. Now, to be fair, he sort of mutually counters Han Solo, the unit, but I'm hoping that my other removal can solve that problem insofar as it becomes an issue. Iden's healing was crucial there. If not for Iden's healing, I would have lost that game. And as it was a very close thing. You know, it really came down to draws to a large degree. If my opponent had actually hit that another copy of For a Cause I Believe in, I probably would have lost that game going for the kind of risky play there with Iden trying to go for lethal, but it ended up working out. So then, ooh, this is a very, very desirable hand for me. So I can play Inferno 4 into space, which then sets up potentially make an opening or Tarkin Town to kill an early space unit. Viper Probe Droid could give me information on what my opponent's doing. Regional Governor could lock down certain opposing plays. Viper Probe Droid and Regional Governor are a natural combo. We're gonna resource the Death Trooper because my opponent has been focused on space rather than ground. And I think it's hard to say, but I think I resourced the regional governor here. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so he's leading off with Han. That probably means he's going to deploy an early Falcon. I'm going to go ahead and use Inferno 4. I get to look at my top two cards. So that's going to be Power of the Dark Side. That's a Keeper and Death Star Stormtrooper who we will, I think, send to the bottom of the deck here. So he's probably going to play the Falcon. Oh no, it's going to be Ezra. Okay, that's fine. I'll just take the initiative here. Draw two. Nice, nice. Wow, what a hand. So I think we just go all in on removal, given that the opponent is playing aggro here. So we absolutely do not want Ezra to be sticking on the field. I think what we do here is we use open fire to clear Ezra. My opponent replies by playing another Ezra. And I'm going to take the initiative here rather than swinging with Inferno 4 because I want to clear that Ezra before his ability goes off. Nice, this is a good draw. The System Patrol Craft, very useful. So we're going to just use Make an Opening to kill Ezra again. This ability is card advantage, and we really don't want him to have that card advantage. Or it's sometimes card advantage. So we'll lead off with Power of the Dark Side, kill Ezra. 3 resources for Fighters for Freedom. Okay, so he's been a lot more ground focused this time. I think we take the initiative again. Regional Governor is pretty interesting here. I think we're going to do Power of the Dark Side. We'll resource this, make an opening since the base hasn't been getting hit. But I think what we're going to do is Power of the Dark Side and then Regional Governor probably for Han. Yeah, well, that's interesting. So we'll lead off with Power of the Dark Side, kill the Fighters for Freedom. Opponent uses Han's ability. I'm going to stall here. I'm going to hit the base for 2 with Inferno 4, which I haven't been doing. So he hits the base there. He uses his ability. So then we've already seen a Mace Windu. So I think the call is Regional Governor, stay Han Solo. See if we lucked out. Ooh, Mace Windu. Got unlucky on that one. Oh well, that's kind of one of those situations where you just have to hope you guessed right. And sadly, I did not. So we will take initiative here, and then unfortunately take 5 damage to base from Mace. Tough one, tough one. Power of the Dark Side yet again. So probably I play that because it kills a high value unit. Um, okay, that is so funny. Yeah, let's do it. So Power of the Dark Side, third copy. He's got to get rid of a unit, and they're both really valuable. Han or Mace. I of course hope that he removes Han. Mace is much easier to remove for me. Um, I can kill Mace pretty reliably this turn with Iden plus Tarkin Town. Han doesn't actually die to that because Tarkin Town can't be used on a leader. Mace is more damage. Mace is more damage to me, but he's also easier to deal with, so I'm not as I guess I can kill Mace. I guess I could kill Han with Iden plus Count Dooku though. Okay, so he opts to kill Mace. Okay. Han hits my base for 4. He gets a temporary resource. We're going to use Iden's ability to heal 1. For cause. Hitting for 4. Ouch. I'm not sure if that's luck or if he's playing a weird deck or what. Typically Han will be playing I think more non-heroic cards than some builds, but his build might be focused on hitting for a cause on for high value. We do get to deploy Iden this turn. This upcoming hand isn't terrifying to me. If I were him, I would probably actually just discard all these cards. Like none of them are really that exciting. The Fleet Lieutenant would be good, but the problem is that he doesn't have a rebel unit. Han isn't a rebel. So the Fleet Lieutenant has kind of a flaw there, and then Chewie is just sort of a bad card. Okay, so yeah, he dumps everything. That's a good play. That's a good play. Um, okay, so we are going to deploy Iden. Let's see if he has another play this turn. Something for 4. Is it K2? Ugh, I hate seeing K2 here. Iden is going to have to just kill K2. Feels really bad. So I heal 1 and then I take 3. Now on the plus side, my opponent's out of cards. On the minus side, we're way behind on life. And if he draws more reach cards, surprise strike, more for a cause, more K2, this could be a very undesirable situation. Now we do get to probably kill Han this turn with Count Dooku, um, but man, this is not where I want to be, to say the least. This is a very, very unfortunate situation. I say unfortunate. Oh, he heroic sacrifices Han to deal 6 damage to the base, and then I heal 1 with Iden. If he has a for a cause, that basically just wins the game. So what do we do here? Yeah, I'll system patrol craft to give me a defense in space against a Falcon, but he might just have for a cause, yeah. That sacrificing Han is crazy if he doesn't have more reach. Let's see if he hits it. And he does, hitting another 4. Ouch. I do think that was it you know, it was a tough game. It would be interesting to see whether or not he was I'd be interested to see what his density is on heroic cards based on the Han decks that I've seen, it kind of feels like that was really lucky, but maybe his deck is optimized for it. We haven't seen the surprise strikes. We've seen some cards that I would not necessarily always play, like Zeb and stuff like that. So it's possible that he's playing, and I guess Zeb is actually pretty good for Han if you play him early. Yeah, so we're gonna go to game 3. Let's see how this goes. And yeah, I think we're just gonna shuffle up and go for it. That was tough. We weren't. Oh, I should have sided out these Fang Fighters. Oh, I'm so silly. I should have sided out the Fang Fighters because he's not actually playing. I'm gonna have to mulligan this hand because it doesn't have anything to do at the start. Don't want to get behind. Nice. This is much better. This is much, much, much better. Resource the Fang. So I should have. So my opponent doesn't seem to be playing upgrades, so I should not have these Fang Fighters in the deck. I should have resourced those. On the other hand, they do help in space, and in that first game, we were having huge problems in the space arena. Okay, so let's see here. I think we resource Death Star Trooper here. Yep, so we're gonna lead off with Inferno 4 and look at our top 2 cards, Death Trooper and Count Dooku. Thought I had sideboarded the Death Troopers. Oh well, they're nice to have. I think, do we want to keep Count Dooku for a later game play? He is very good once he gets going. I have a fair amount of late game plays. We're going to keep the Death Trooper, who's more of an early game unit. We're going to we're going to send Count Dooku to the bottom of the deck. Opponent is going to use Han's ability. We take the initiative regardless of what unit it is. We have an answer in the form of open fire. Um, Although he could do Falcon, kill Inferno 4, and then let it go back to hand. To dodge Tarkin Town. I think I'm basically fine with him doing that because it's really slow and we're going for late game, but he goes for Ezra. Okay, so similar beginning now to the previous game, which didn't go too well for me. So we'll have to see whether or not we can do better. I think in a direct parallel to last game, we're going to open fire and kill Ezra before he gets the chance to attack. I was about to point out that my opponent had not removed one of his temporary resources, but he saw it. Ooh, nice. And a fleet lieutenant with nothing to do. Um, I think we hit the base for 2 here. Opponent takes initiative. Nice. We'll resource this Inferno 4. This turn we can potentially cell block guard and get some security up in the ground arena. We could also maybe Death Trooper, but it doesn't seem to me It isn't clear to me that he's playing the units that are most weak to Death Trooper, so we haven't seen Lothal Insurgent, for instance, who's kind of one of the two defense starting units. So the Death Trooper might be more something to deal the final blow to a unit that's already been fighting, something like that. We'll have to see. Could also combo maybe. Okay, so he just swings into the base. Very reasonable. We are going to bring out the Cell Block Guard to get some defense up in the ground arena. 3 resources for something. Maybe rethinking that. 3 resources for the Falcon. Okay. So the question now is, do we want to have... Yeah, so I think we have Inferno 4 attack the Falcon, and then we get to look at our top 2 cards. Del Miko, who I don't want right now, and Fangfighter, who I don't want right now. Both of them go to the bottom of the deck. Falcon hits the base for 3. I will Tarkin Town, kill the Falcon. Opponent probably takes initiative, and we'll make up for one of those points of damage with Iden's ability since we killed the Falcon this turn. And then we pass, drawing up. Nice. Imperial Interceptor. Really, really like to see that. I think we resource... I think we resource the Death Trooper here. So we potentially have Governor plus... or Probe Droid. I think we have the Probe Droid plus Governor combo this turn as what we want to be doing. So the Probe Droid plus Governor combo is going to allow me to shut down his 7-drop if he's holding 1 in hand. If he's holding 2 in hand, that could be a problem. But we gotta hope that he doesn't, and that he just has the 1. The accelerated 7-drop from Han is a major threat. Cell Block Guard currently safeguarding us against the Fleet Lieutenant. So he takes the trade, which is very reasonable. So we now have Iden's healing available, but we want to Cell Block Guard him first. Falcon, Han, and K2. Hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. That is a very not pleasant hand for me. Temp resource. Now the really annoying thing about this is the Governor play actually isn't very good against it, because he can choose to do so we're going to use Iden to heal 1. The Governor play isn't actually very good about it because he has 7 resources of cards 2 different ways. He can either do Unit Han, or he can do K2 plus Falcon. And actually K2 plus Falcon is probably scarier for me. Is that true? No, we have to say Han, because if he does K2 plus Falcon, if I say K2, he can use Han to just kill the Governor. And also he probably didn't, because he had to do a temp resource, he doesn't have both Falcon and K2 in hand, probably. So hopefully I guessed right and he didn't plan on doing K2 plus Falcon. If he planned on doing K2 plus Falcon, this Governor is really not productive. He's going for base. I'm going to take the initiative. Did he plan it out? Is he going to do K2 plus Falcon? I really, really hope he isn't. So he plays... Oh, he went for it. We called wrong. He plays K2 and the Falcon. Critically bad for me. That might be the game. And we'll see if we can come back. But that is a super negative development. We had the combo and used it the wrong way. Okay. Okay, so the good news is his Han is blocked. Oh no, he resourced that Han. Man, that's tough. Okay, so how are we getting out of this? Okay, so we can system patrol craft to defend in space against the Falcon. So first order of business is we need to force choke K2. Um, yeah, first order of business is force choke K2. We can't let K2 attack plus get his damage to base. Okay, so he is playing Surprise Strike. Interesting. That increasingly makes me think 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's a really bad spot for us, but good news is System Patrolcraft against that Falcon. Um, I increasingly think he was getting lucky on those For a Cause I Believe In's then if he is playing, well, I don't know, maybe he's not playing that much else. Oh, For a Cause I Believe In, let's see if he can do 4 damage and win the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's game. Brutal, 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 brutal. Hey, you know what? He got the win. I'm really curious to know I'm gonna actually ask. I'm very curious to know his non-heroic heroic density because it seemed like those four cause I believe ins were getting really lucky, but maybe he's only running surprise strike. No, he okay. So he says he only has 5. Okay, so he's omitting a lot of the standard cards for Han in order to do this, but it's paying off with these for a cause I believe ins. So yeah, ultimately Rebel Spy was able to get the win. Good game to him. Good games to him. The It's an interesting situation. Wow, he has an off aspect cunning. Interesting. Yeah, so I guess he had the waylay in the first game, but sideboarded it, and he's not playing shoot first or snapshot, which is interesting. But I think that's a valid style of play, and as we saw here, it was very successful. I think in the first game he had the space aggro, and I was able to defeat it. In this second game, the that for a cause for 4 unfortunately managed to take us out before we could get the healing going, which is kind of interesting. If he hits even for 3, I think we have it. Well, nah, we don't have that much of a chance because if he hits for 3, we can kill Han and heal, but he can attack into he can attack the system patrolcraft and then Tarkin Town me. And then that actually puts me in a pretty bad spot because I would have to use the interceptor to kill the Falcon, but I don't know if I have the timing for it. So yeah, that was those were some good games. Ultimately the Han stuff was a little too aggro. I think the critical moment for this game was guessing wrong on the regional governor. I think that if I had blocked K2 or the Falcon, I would probably be in a winning position, but I thought he was going for the more traditional big play and ended up getting hit really bad by that. So well played to Rebel Spy. I don't know if he thought that I had the governor and counterplayed me, or if that was just what he was going for. Either way, but that was, I think, the decisive moment in this game because even if he used Han to kill the governor, that would be 4 damage not on my base. Really slows him down and puts me in a better spot to start to get Iden out and start stabilizing. However, wasn't to be. Yeah, good game to Rebel Spy, and we'll be checking out this footage. We'll be checking out this footage on the channel in a bit. So that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Thanks to y'all for watching. We'll be back later with some more Star Wars Unlimited content. I will catch you guys later.